3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it's hot here in San Francisco, and it's hot here in the studio, so we're in our summer attire, aren't we, Julia?
We are.
Huh?
We are.
There's my lower thirds, Julia Vatican, the Commodore of the Beach Street Yacht Club, and my co-host. I'm Tom Eamon, as most of you will know. Welcome to Studio B here at the Beach Street Yacht Club, where it is warm, but we've got a great show for you today. I'm in my Stag Cruise clothing. It's after Labor Day. The summer's over, but it's hotter than it's been all summer here.
Right.
And Julia, I think, shorts are also,
They're in order.
in order. You're in your lightweight suit today, and
Yes.
no scarf.
And no scarf.
No scarf?
No.
Too hot for scarves.
Our audience may be interested to know that noontime temperature in the San Francisco Bay Area is varying from 66 degrees
Here in the marina.
in the marina to well over 100 in many places and up to 117 in North Bay.
And inland in the
Yeah.
Central Valley, it must be quite warm. I wonder when the sea breeze is going to fill, because I've got a little crack here in the window over here looking to the south, and we've got the sun load on us here in the studio. We don't, no one air conditions in San Francisco unless
No.
you're in a high-rise glass coffin.
Yeah.
And we got the door open behind Julia crack, but we'll get on with it. We'll try to stay cool. If you see a little sweat breaking on our brow, you'll know what's going on. Hello, everybody. No AC at the Beach Street Yacht Club. No Paul Homchick. We don't need it. It's 5 degrees Celsius, Alistair's saying, down in Melbourne. Even Grekoff has sent some stuff in for today's show. Even thank you for yours. And Facebook use of that is in hot Texas at Austin, J. Frederick Bland. Yeah, nice legs. I got a little sun on them when we were in Michigan, not a lot. What a shirt. Volume control available on the shirt. This is a Stag Cruise. This is your Stag Cruise shirt. And some of you are going. If you are a St. Francis member and haven't signed up yet, now is the time, because it's getting down to the last 3 weeks. We have another rehearsal for the members show tonight, Julia.
Yes.
And I'll have to have you approve all the jokes to be sure they're in good taste. Because
Yes, I have a.
most of them are not.
To be sure, a couple of them won't be, but it's just so all of them are not.
Schaefer is on. Hello, John. Captain Jack from Annapolis. Boy, he's turning out some good videos of late. Ed Worley saying cheers. Andrew Pindar, it's Tuesday. It's 5 to 5 and it's Cracker Jack. Okay. Greeting from foggy New York City. Peter Taylor's in New York. What coast am I on? The Stash. Yeah, the subject of today's show is the Stash. Paul Cayard, who is our executive director of Olympic sailing in this country. He's more the beard now than the stash. But this is, Julia, show number 550.
Wow.
And I went through to see what it was auspicious about the number 550. This is the longest pre-show I think we've ever done. And you know what that is?
Yes.
That is the New Balance 550. It was famous back in the late 80s, and then the company didn't follow through with it, and now whoever's the new design director has renewed it for this year, and it is hugely popular, like the old Levi's 550s, the 501s and then the 505s. Well, the 550s are dad jeans. You should not be caught dead wearing 550s. They're baggy and loose. That's what.
And comfortable.
Well, they're not comfortable. They look croutonic.
Oh, do they?
Oh, they look awful. They're grandpa jeans. You can't do 550s. Well, you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
Now, there is perhaps the most famous 550 here in as we celebrate our show number 550. Do you know who that is?
Mm-hmm.
And who and when?
He was killed
Yeah.
hours later, James Dean, yeah.
Yeah, and his Porsche Spyder 550. He called it the Little Bastard, and he was driving to a race in Salinas, down south of here, and got in a tragic and huge crash. Do you remember what year?
57.
Well done. 5. Yep, James Dean was spilled in that Spider. Was killed, spilled. He was spilled and then killed in that Spider. Cool picture, nice car. Ed Worley is saying, hi, Jen Dunbar. She's up in Marin. Nice to have you on. The Little Bastard, James Dean. Apropos our show number 550, that was a Porsche Spider 550. And then finally we had to find a yacht.
Yes.
And I did not know about this boat until I Googled it. It's called a Lion 550, built by Unic, or it was being built. I don't know if they're still in business even. Unic Yachts in Ukraine. The Lion 550 Adrenaline. Now, Julia, speaking of
adrenaline,
Ukraine.
Okay.
Yes. I have heard from our Fozy, Rody, and Luca. We're going to try to get him back on the show. You remember at the outbreak of the war, he came on the show and told us about what was going on.
Yes.
In Ukraine. And he sends along some sad news about the Kiev Racing Yacht Club's race committee boat called Bolero. And he tells us that this famously good race committee boat, he did not design or build a boat. I checked with him, but you can see it's a, I guess you call that a schooner rig, double mast. And it's the race committee boat, among other things, for the Kiev Racing Yacht Club, and a terrific junior boat. They can look at all the open space in that cockpit, 2 rigs and the jib, so there's a lot of action for the kids on the boat to do and a lot of space in which to do it. So they can take up to a dozen kids and a coach. But sadly, according to Rodian, the Russians have destroyed our beautiful boat. So that's the bloody Russians, he said, have destroyed our boat. So the boat was at a yard outside down near, I think down near Crimea. Hi, Janice Davis, welcome. Yeah, my mother loves my shirt. What a wild shirt, she said. But back to the story here. The bloody Russians had destroyed this boat, according to Rody and Luca. We're really sad to hear that, and it was a big, beautiful boat. And then there's the I-550, home-built wood. Yeah, there's some other 550 classes, but I think that touches on the big one. Okay, let's get to the pre-start. We're not even to the pre-start yet, Julia. And, of course, our photo we love from John Emmett at the Castle Cove Sailing Club. I just want to thank again Ben Remacher. Siri calls him Remoker. I called him this morning. Ben Remoker. Remoka. Siri with the English accent that I use on my phone. I want to thank Ben for coming on the show on Friday. He was a terrific guest, humorous, very informative, very quick-witted, terrific guy. He is the class manager for the 49er and the 49er FX and the NACRA 17 classes, and a great guest he was, live via Skype from Nova Scotia, where they have just concluded their world championships for those 3 Olympic classes. And we will talk some more about that when we get into the Bravo Zulu section. We also told you, remember that, we told you on Friday that they were having some problems with this. The other privateers don't seem to have these problems, but NASA does. Check engine light came on, and they said, we're going to get it going on Saturday, and then we're going to get it going on Monday. Well, they got a bad hydrogen leak someplace, I guess. What was it?
I don't know.
So that's in abeyance. The check engine light came on. Yeah, Gordon Smith saying that Ben's interview was excellent. Yeah, he was. He was,
and it was continuous. He was on for a long time, and he was good for a long time.
He is indeed. He's a good man. Yeah, the Spruce Goose 2.0, Jeff Ogle is saying. I don't know what that's all about. And of course, it was our Labor Day and our long 3-day, what we think of as the end of the summer. The kids are back in school. If they weren't already, most of them are back in school today or tomorrow here in the States. And we had nice Labor Day greetings from one of our favorite Fozy. Here's a couple of images from London, a tribute to Nelson, who he says is the winner of the first offshore regatta.
Yes.
In Trafalgar Square, obviously. That was October 21st, 1805, and he's looking forward to the show.
Yeah.
Today, fair winds from the Gillinghams in Leamington, presumably, and he also took this shot, of course, of the Trafalgar, what is that, the Trafalgar
Square.
Yeah, it is, but what's that, the tower, the memorial, I don't know what it's called.
I don't know.
Yeah, hydrogen leak back on the, that's what Ed Worley was saying. They're bringing it back to the shed. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's not just going to be a quick fix on the launch pad. They got to go back to maybe not to the drawing board, but thanks, Chris Gillingham. Nelson might have won the regatta, but he lost his life. Yes, indeed, he did, apropos this comment. How'd we celebrate it, Julia? here at the Beach Street Yacht Club, that is Labor Day.
Staying out of the heat.
Well, no, we had a hot dog. What else do you do on Labor? We had a hot dog roast.
Oh, yes. We had a hot dog.
With our friend Alfredo Partible. He came over and we had your corn. You brought some corn down and I roasted some hot dogs, grilled some hot dogs, ketchup, cottage cheese, and those peppers also grilled. That's the Beach Street Yacht Club Commodore, and Alfredo, we call him the Rice Commodore. Right?
Yes.
The Rice, because Meg's the Vice Commodore.
Yes.
My daughter, Meg. So that's how we did it today. Yes, thank you, Monica Diaz. This is our Stag Cruise shirt. It's a Spooner from Hawaii.
Rains, yeah.
Yeah, and
those are such great shirts.
You think?
The material wears forever and never needs ironing.
Now, may I tell the truth?
What?
We were in here 10 minutes before air, and I had another dark blue Bodie shirt on, and I said, "Oh, it looks terrible. It looks kind of almost black here in this lighting." And you came in this nice kind of you don't call it what do you call that material? But light blue material and very lightweight and summery looking. So then I said, I can't wear this thing. It looks cretonic. So I went and changed into another shirt, which also didn't work. And then finally, this is brand new. It came right. We're using it.
I've never seen it before.
So it kind of matches your shirt. So I hate to be matchy, but that's our Labor Day. If those of you who celebrated it, the long weekend here in the States, it's been going on since the late 1880s. It was labor leaders in New York decided to throw a parade to celebrate their members being in unions and to show support for all unions, according to history posted in the National Constitution Center's website. At least they were flabbergasted. 20,000 people attended, and workers had to give up a day's pay to attend. So they apparently drank a lot of beer. But that set the stage for future Labor Day bashes. Other regions of the country soon followed New York's. Parade took place in New York City. And by 1887, Oregon, Mass, New York, New Jersey, Colorado, more had made Labor Day a state holiday according to history, and then it became a federal holiday in the early 1900s. One of our presidents made it a deal. Now, one of the things you know about Labor Day is that supposedly you do have to stop wearing white after Labor Day, right, Julia? Mm-hmm. Is that you don't wear white after Labor Day?
Only if it's hot. but traditionally one does not. That's
the traditional rules. It says here, all the whites, the Nantucket Reds.
Yes.
I'm breaking the rules. Although they're Brenton Reds, but
never mind.
Newport. And boat-themed clothing are supposed to be packed away until next summer. Opinion remains sharply divided. But since the pandemic pretty much smashed all fashion rules as we know them, you should feel free to go for if that's your jam. So from GQ and Vogue, here are some tips for pulling off post-Labor Day white. Julia, this is now Fashion Illustrated. I told you we're gonna do this. Watch this.
Okay.
Here's how you can wear whites if you're a gentleman after Labor Day.
White jeans
and white trainers, as you would say in the UK. Mm-hmm. There's a white sweater that doesn't look too bad with his white trainers. I mean, this is sailing, good. Not Sailing Illustrated. This is Fashion Illustrated. Look at this.
GQ. Oh, I'm so relieved.
All courtesy of GQ. You know, we got to bring our FOSI, the up-to-the-date fashion news as well. Fashion Illustrated thing. And for the women, here's a nice kind of creamy white.
White's very much in this year for women.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. I don't know why.
And of course, in Southern California, it doesn't. Southern California is summer all the time, and they wear white, they wear Brenton Red, they wear whatever the hell they want to. Right. And probably in some other warm spots, like who knows, Florida and the Caribbean, where it's warm. Okay, so that's our so much for Fashion Illustrated. But the question surrounding white wears after Labor Day then becomes, how do I instead of can I? Well, it's simple. Trade in airy summertime fabrics like linen. I can't believe I put this in the show. And summery silhouettes like spaghetti straps for long sleeve tops and lightweight sweaters. The seasonless white items in your closet like jeans and crisp button-downs can continue to show up in your weekly repertoire as they would any time of the year.
What a good idea.
Julia, fashion.
I can't find my white jeans. I don't know why.
That must be J. Frederick Bland saying who was in the Navy, says the Navy uniform changed from summer whites to blues. Yeah, Peter Taylor's wanting to know where's Tom goes off on a terrible tangent. Hopefully trousers too. No, we're in red shorts. I'll tell you what, it is bloody hot in this studio already. It is because it's hot outside and the sea breeze has not kicked in. Now, this is a great weekend. There was a lot of action all over the world, sports and otherwise. Those of you who are F1 fans will know that Mr. Verstappen, Max, had another great weekend. He's now extended his lead in the 2022 F1 standings. He's up by almost 110 points after another win in Zandvoort at that Grand Prix. Paul Homchek saying a white shirt is always in style.
True.
Grandma Brown, Commodore John Nicholas Brown's widow, who's now since passed away, who gave the Brown mansion, Harbor Court, sold it to New York Yacht Club for a very tidy but nice sum. I mean, way less than the market value, which is now Harbor Court. And I had dinner with her once, and I wore red pants, a blue shirt, my blue blazer, and I had an Ida Lewis Yacht Club tie, I guess, a red Ida Lewis tie. And she said, "Mr. Eamon, a gentleman always wears a white shirt after 6 p.m., after 1800, I think she maybe said."
Yes.
And I have always worn a white shirt after 1800 ever since.
Well, good
in
for
honor
you.
of her. Just like my grandfather said,
Yes.
the late, great Paul Hopkins Eamon II, who died 60, I don't know, 2 or 3. He said, Tommy, a gentleman always wears a white handkerchief in his pocket.
And you do.
And I do. In honor of my grandfather. People ask why, and that is why. Okay. Yeah. Will anything Cayard be able to compete with all this fashion advice? David Richard Morrison. Back to Formula One. Now, there was a very interesting moment at Saint-Tropez when Max Verstappen apparently went from Zandvoort over to Saint-Tropez, and I think this video is from today, maybe yesterday, but I think it's actually from today. Have a look. Will it play? Do I have to click it again? Max Verstappen on the handles.
Nice, 630, 600. Hitting up the deck.
He's actually pretty strong.
6, 5.
Red Bull, a sponsor of the Oracle
2, 1.
Team USA, says you can say. A nice little video, and thanks to Ted Ryman, who found that and sent that along off one of that is just pain, John Emmett is saying. Yeah, indeed. Another cool thing over the weekend, I guess it was cool. It was a not that good a match, 4 sets, but the U.S. Open, Francis Tiafoe, I don't know if it's Tiafoe or I've seen it pronounced both ways, Tiafoe, who's here from the States, from College Park, Maryland, he upset Rafael Nadal before the quarterfinals. I mean, this was in an early match, and it was very elegantly, as usual, written about in the New York Times by our longtime friend Christopher Clary, who's not quite a Fozy. I've never had him on the show, but he's covered the America's Cup forever, and he covers tennis for the New York Times and for the what's the Herald, the International Herald Tribune, which the Times owns. And his headline and terrific story: Rafael Nadal loses his serve and his way at the U.S. Open. His loss to Francis Tiafoe was Nadal's earliest defeat at a major tournament in more than 5 years, and the first time he had been beaten in any major in 2022. Pretty amazing streak. The guy's an amazing athlete, and maybe this new guy, Francis Tiafoe, is going to be the real deal coming along. One can only hope for the sake of tennis, and I know a lot of you were commenting, texting me back and forth as that was going on, because there's a lot of Fozy or tennis fans. I think our Fozy are sports people.
Yes.
I think they like tennis, they like F1, they like, soccer, football,
like
rugby.
Good athletics.
Good sports.
Yeah.
Shame for Nadal, Monica Diaz is saying, yes, indeed. Yep. But those of you in the UK are celebrating, or maybe not, but you have a new PM as of today. So bravo Zulu to the new UK PM, Liz Truss, there on the left, and also being officially appointed up in Scotland at Balmoral by Her Majesty the Queen. And Ms. Truss says she is going to be the new Iron Lady. She says she's conservative and tough, and she is going to be good. She's going to need it because she's got this gentleman to deal with, who is over the weekend turning up the heat and cold later in this year by turning off the gas. A bad development, I think, Julia, for the whole world, particularly Europe. We'll see what happens. But he's telling the West, if you don't get out of Ukraine, you're not going to get any more gas. So Germany is rationing. The prices went up by 30% today in the UK, I think, is what I saw in our business news this morning, as Mr. Putin ratchets up the pressure. So we'll see what happens with that. Meanwhile, it is, as we mentioned, hot here. And we've got, for the first time, Julie, in a long time, we've got, this is what do they call it? A flex alert, rolling out outages. There weren't many yesterday, but they're saying that today we could have rolling outages. And if we get knocked off the air, it's maybe because our power went out. You wonder if California has become a third world country as we again face these outages, power outages today due to the heat, and particularly between 5 and 10 today. They say turn down your heat, turn down your air conditioning if you have it.
Yeah,
turn off your
4 to 9. Yeah.
Don't live stream. So,
I know.
Long Beach saw 104 Fahrenheit on Saturday, David Morris is saying. And he seems to have an inside track on what's going on with the war. John does. We'll see what else he says. I wish Stingray makes a joke about Putin. I wish he was not so full of gas. Julia, that's so it is hot, and we're going to have some more heat here in the U.S. And those of you who are facing some problems with energy in the UK and other parts of the world, we can only say hopefully our governments and the private sector get this under control, because this is ridiculous in this day and age.
Not necessary.
Yeah, it's certainly not necessary. Now, Julia, do you know what day it is today?
Yes.
What is it?
Coffee ice cream.
How'd you know that?
I peeked.
You did? Today, the 6th of September, is indeed International Coffee Ice Cream Day. In honor of that, Julia, I have here on the set for you, because I know how much you like ice cream.
Yes.
It's in a little bowl of ice to keep it cold.
Oh.
There's some coffee ice cream for you.
Oh, yum.
You can take it out of that bowl of ice if you want. And we better get you a Beach Street Yacht Club napkin.
What fun.
Yeah, you got to be proper here.
Oh, and a nice,
there you go,
cold spoon.
A cold spoon, and you can...
And I put the ice in my coffee.
You can do whatever you put the ice in your coffee. We always drink iced coffee.
I do.
But that's in honor of International Coffee Ice Cream Day, Julia.
And our 550th show.
Well, that too.
Yes.
How's it taste? Be better probably if it were rum ice cream. Huh? 550th show.
Yep.
International Coffee Ice Cream Day. Okay, so
it is good.
Good move to suck up to the Commodore Tom Peter Taylor. Yes, I have to suck up to her every day, or else I'll get not only get excommunicated. She may kick me out of my apartment here. Julia,
sir,
how is it?
Good, but not very coffee-like.
It's not?
Mm-mm.
Well, it is coffee ice cream.
Good.
I love coffee ice cream.
Yeah, it is good.
Okay, enough of the pre-show. Let's get into the real show. But before we do that, I want to do promo for Friday's show and next Tuesday's show. We told you that we've got the Commodore of the New York Yacht Club coming up this Friday to talk about the Resolute Cup. That's the qualifying regatta for American yacht clubs into the club's signature event now, this big event that goes on every other year, and they will have it next year again. And this international amateur fleet racing event, and they're doing it in the 37s. And we will see what the Commodore has to say, because we're delighted to say that Friday, the New York Yacht Club Commodore Paul Zabatakis will be with us live via Skype or Zoom from his home in Jamestown, Rhode Island. That's the island right in the middle of Narragansett Bay, and will tell us, no doubt, about the regatta coming up this weekend for the Resolute Cup, the qualifying regatta. And I think this is going to be a hotly contested event. Instead of they were, and I'll go back, that's the J22s, which they have been using. And now they've got a new fleet of RS21s, beautiful boats, very highly regarded. And that's what they'll be using in the Resolute Cup this coming weekend. The Commodore will be with us live via Skype or Zoom, Paul Zabatakis, whom I don't know well, but we've talked and delighted that he will come on the show. Next Tuesday, we're going to preview the Rolex Big Boat Series, which takes place here at St. Francis, September 14th through the 18th, next Thursday, the following week, Thursday through Sunday. Delighted to have with us Staff Commodore Ken Glidewell. Next Tuesday, he's the vice chairman of the Big Boat Committee, the Rolex, the RBBS, as we call it at the Yacht Club. He's been sailing canards and other things. He's Commodore in what, 2000, Julia? Ken was, I think.
Yeah, he pulled the wrong. Then that was when everybody. He's such a good guy, and it's a year the club sort of got shut down because of COVID.
Yeah.
So any chance to give him propers, which is.
Well, he also he and Susan Rooney, who's the chair of the committee, I said, either one of you want to come on, and she said, well, Ken, why don't you do it? I'm plenty busy, and they're both terrific, and the regatta's looking good, shaping up well for this year. Ken Glidewell, Staff Commodore Ken Glidewell will be with us next Tuesday as our guest.
Good. Let's
get into the show today and the starting line with the starboats there on the line and the horn, and of course we like to start with John Emmett with his usual report, and another terrific report, and rather an extended one, because I'm going to run his normal video and then one more that he put up on YouTube today that I think you will also enjoy.
Hi Tom, Julia and all the Fozy. I am indeed on the water. Got the gimbal with me, so hopefully nobody's going to be feeling seasick. Though the water's quite flat, it does chop up a bit here in Portland Harbour. Pretty busy day so far. Went and packed up the Ilka 6. We have an inter-club competition at Lyme Regis tomorrow, which is a lot of fun. So it's 3 local clubs. So there's Sutton Bingham, and there's Lyme Regis and Castle Cove. We all get together and have 3 competitions and visit each other's club, and I think roughly for me, none of the clubs is more than an hour away for each other. So I'm here at Cadets, if you can hear and see them going on in the background, doing a small triangular course. I'm standing up as a very short mast for the start-finish line. So it's good to do this. Packed up the boat this morning, arrived at the club a little bit late, so I'm a bit worried my trail and everything is in everyone's way, but we'll see what happens. As I look into distance, I can see Lily flying around out here, but whether I get a flyby, I'm not quite sure. It's pretty hard to get the timing right. Very typical day. We've got everything from the Picos and the Fevers, right up to there's a large number of kites who you can't actually see at the moment. But they are by far the fastest thing out on Portland Harbour at the moment. And then this afternoon I'm going to go racing myself. I can see the wind is gradually building, so I think I'm going to be pretty overpowered in the Aero 7, but I tell myself it's all good fitness. And then off the water, going to do the bar duty, which is quite a good excuse to stay around and be a bit more social. And I think that's always just such a big part of a sailing club. So the cadets are now coming to the end of their first little race, so probably need to get back and do some sound signals. Lily was last seen disappearing off towards Portland, so I guess she won't be back for a little while. But you never know. We also have quite a few moths here, which are considerably faster than the wasps. It seems the game is going up and up. But hope everybody has a good week and really make the most if you're in the northern hemisphere as the summer begins to draw to an end.
Thank you, John Emmett. Another terrific report from John Emmett Sailing. Get to the front of the fleet. Hire John, probably. Whoa, that was loud. Here's another video he did about the cadets. He released just before we went to air, and it's such a cool video, I thought we should air it.
Hi, I'm John Emmett. I'm here at Castle Cove. It's getting towards the end of season, but the cadets is still going very, very strong. Had a fantastic day. Sun is shining, and I think the sea breeze is probably on its way. Young man to my left, new to Castle Cove. Really pleased to have you here, topper national champion. Can I get you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
I'm Merrin Attridge. I've been a top sailor for 5 years and sailing for 8 years. I'm topper national champion, but I also sail 29ers, Fevers, Fireflies, and of course a laser.
Castle Cove Cadets is a fantastic opportunity for young sailors to learn to sail in the safety and comfort of Portland Harbour. Every Saturday, people get together for training, and it's always lots of fun. So, come and join the Castle Cove Cadets.
If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe.
Now, is that kid a good sailor because he sails all those different classes?
Mm-hmm.
Or because he's a good sailor,
He
is he sailing a lot of different classes?
Yeah.
I suspect it's a little of both. I know that growing up, we always thought every time we could get into another class,
Yeah.
Lightning Snipe, Fireball, Flying Scot, Interlake, Thistle, bigger boats, whatever we could, we thought we learned something from doing it.
I'm sure
I suspect
you do.
I am too. I think that's right. Are the boats owned by the club? Ed Worley, I don't know. I wasn't allowed to sail Beaver. Okay, keep it clean or you're going to get a finger whack from Julia, right?
Right.
How was that ice cream?
It was good.
Was it?
It wasn't enough of it, of course.
Well, there's more in the freezer. You want me to, during the next video, to go get you?
I know.
Go
Oh,
get
wait.
you some
Oh,
more.
wait. Oh, wait.
Those hand pockets, is that part of the Fashion Illustrated? What hand pockets are you talking about, Stingray? Do you know what he's talking about?
I think somebody had.
Did you have your...
I didn't. No. Somebody else, I think, standing on the dock.
Now, do you have any idea, Julia, where John is now? I don't know if he did those videos today. I think he did those videos this morning. And then he dashed to the airport, and now he is in, you recognize that? That is
No.
The Hague. That's Den Haag.
Oh.
And he's there for this test event, which takes place, I guess, starting tomorrow, for the 2023 World Sailing World Championships, which is the primary qualifying event for the 2024 Olympics. So the countries that get there and sail and do well in the various Olympic classes will gather more points and qualify their country for one of the now limited berths in the 10 Olympic disciplines, classes. So John is there, and he said he just made it after he sent those videos. And
I know.
and where else? Where else?
Spot right.
He's in a pub. In fact, I think that's right there where that picture was taken. He sent that, and he said he's there to coach the emerging nations. He told us that on the show the other day. He's coaching the emerging nations, which is a nice thing when these countries can't afford their own coach. So they, the World Sailing contracts with somebody good like John to go there and take care of any of the number of countries that do not have coaches. And of course, where would he start? But at a pub there in Den Haag on the harbor with the, he'll be coaching the Ilka Sevens, and that, he says, is Ben, the local Dutch Ilka 7 coach. I don't know Ben, but it looks like they're having a good time, right?
Right, and they're going to learn a lot.
And they're going to learn a lot. Okay, that gets us to the main topic for today's show, which is the Ilka, the Ilka is the 49er FX, and then also the Cayard interview. But first, we want to say bravo Zulu to one other gentleman who did very well in the 4 events known as the match racing, the Grand Slam here in the U.S. We've been talking about that. We showed you some photos and featured Dave Perry, who had won the 3rd of the 4 events. Well, Chris Poole from Connecticut has won this U.S. Grand Slam. And thank you to Peter Taylor, who sent in the photo and reminded me of this. Chris has won the Thompson Cup, which was the last one at Sewanee Corinthian Yacht Club, and thus the U.S. Grand Slam Match Racing Series, which gets him an entry into Congressional Cup, as I no doubt saw. Well, I had not seen that. And thank you very much, Peter Taylor, for sending that along. And congratulations, Bravo Zulu, to Chris Poole. We love match racing. And there was a lot of back and forth. I had texts from various people from New Zealand and other parts of the world who were at those 4 events. It becomes a tradition now for some of the up and coming match racers from other countries to come and sail in those 4 events: Chicago, Detroit, Sewanaka, Corinthian, which is the 4th event, and the event that Dawn Riley hosts there at, help me with the name of her place. Why am I
Oak Cliff.
Oak Cliff. Thank you, Julia. That's why we have Julia here. When I have a brain fade and adult. Senior moment. You call those senior moments?
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew Pindar is telling us that Scheveningen, yeah, it's the beach town down on the beach, in not actually in Den Haag. And John in the pub, go figure.
Mm-hmm.
And a bar getting very, very wet. Okay, yeah, it's a water sport after all. So Bravo Zulu to Chris Poole, and then Bravo Zulu to the winners of the 49er and the 49er FX and the NECRA 17 Worlds that we reported on extensively on Friday's show, and they were up in Nova Scotia, as you know. And the Dutch women had a particularly good event. We'll tell you more about them. But so too did the Dutch men. In fact, we have double Dutch. Where's that expression come from? The double Dutch. Is that the language?
Jump rope.
Jump rope?
Jump rope does double Dutch.
Okay, well, the double Dutch wins. They have won both the 49er, the women and the men have won the 49er and the 49er FX Worlds. Bravo Zulu to them. And there's another shot of the women. That's Odile Van Aanholt, whose dad I used to race against in the sunfish class, a world champion sunfish sailor. And Annette Deutz from Netherlands. I hope I pronounced that right. Bravo Zulu, congratulations on their win in the 49er FX World Championships. And also the gentleman, Bart Lambrou and Floris van der Verken. They have won the men's. That is the 49er World Championship. Bravo Zulu to them both. And both teams, all 4 of them. And here is a nice Chris Mueller. He was there doing a lot of TV work and a lot of interviews. And here is his interview before the medal race. They already won it before the medal race. That is the men, and his interview with them before the medal race.
Okay, 2022 49er World Champions, World Championship, World Champions, 2-time World Champions after the last fleet race. You sailed your drop.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was it was a pretty unstable race, so it was quite tricky, but we managed to do all right. It was a drop, but it was good enough to take the win. Yeah.
Awesome. And Bart, Florian, I talked to you over the course of this week. You've been pretty relaxed all the while. How'd it go going into this fleet race? Were you relaxed?
Well, the rest of the week we were pretty relaxed, but I think now I definitely felt some tension. Yeah. But yeah, that's been an amazing week, and yeah, maybe we shouldn't think too much about the race today and enjoy the championship.
Absolutely. You're going to sail the medal race. Yeah. This is your 2nd World Championship in a row. And, you know, I mean, it's taken a little bit it'll take a little while to sink in, won't it?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Yeah, it's been a really good week. We're really happy with the way we sailed. And just one more race to go, but yeah, really happy.
But was your aim to win this regatta?
Well, yeah, definitely. But I think that's everyone's aim was competing here. Yeah, so it's also our aim. But our biggest aim is to make sure we put the highest level on the race course that we are capable of. And yeah, if someone's better, then someone's better. But I mean, we want to put the highest level on the race course, and we see where it ends up, and it ends up in a very nice spot right now, and we're super happy with that. So yeah, couldn't be happier.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to both of you. Enjoy the medal race.
Yeah, we will.
Chris Musler, who's a Fozy, he's been on the show from Jamestown, Rhode Island, doing the interviewing there. Nice stuff. Now, you got to love this picture. First, I thought it was the 2 women kissing each other, and I thought, well, that's pretty progressive, the Dutch and of Ben Ramacher, because I pulled this right out of their press release. This isn't some spy photo, but this is one of the guys and one of the gals, and I don't know if they're an item or if they just are so happy that they each won the Worlds that they're not quite double Dutch, but it's a nice picture.
It is.
A little eroticism here. Maybe not, just friendly kissing here on the show, Julia. What do you think?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Nice. We'll see what kind of comments we get besides dead cat microphones. By the way, if you're doing outdoor work, the dead cat, if you're on a movie set, but if you have a microphone, this is a Shure SM58, and you just have one of these foam windscreens, which cost all of about, I don't know,
$1.50.
Yeah, you can get a half dozen of them on Amazon for, I think, $9 or something. That works fine. The dead cat. Porn Illustrated, Ted Ryman is saying. Yeah, I don't, double Dutch, I think it's something to do with the language. I don't really remember. The video feed dropped. Well, our video feed hasn't.
Double Dutch, Stingray says, is when you split the tab on a date.
I think that's Dutch treat. That's what we call Dutch treat anyway.
But that's yeah. But double Dutch, I only know from jumping.
Somebody on here will know. Tier de Jong's on here. He should know. Where's Tier? Isn't he on? Yeah, he's on. He'll tell us what double Dutch means. Well, bravo Zulu to them. And then here's another interview, another Chris Mueller interview, which I really liked. And I think there's a hot race in the men's between silver and bronze. And here are the bronze medalists.
2022 World Championships in the 49er in the books. The medal race is finished, and man, it was close for the silver and bronze medal. Pentella brothers, you came away with a bronze medal, but that was not an easy race. Mihovil, tell me how that one went.
Yeah, it was a really tough one. In one moment we were second, one moment we were third, one moment we were out of the medal, and then I think upwind mark we were third, but not secured till the end of the race. So we did a jibe set and then finished super close with the Austrians. At the end we lost with them, and then we lost the silver medal. But I'm super happy, and probably Shime as well, with the bronze.
Yeah. Now, Shime, we talked all week about how it's been a tough World Championships for you guys. A lot of little stumbling blocks along the way. Tell me how your emotions were throughout this race.
It was really tough. I'm just talking to Spanish guys. I felt like everyone in the fleet wanted to shoot themselves a couple of times during the race, because they were first, they finished almost last. We were on the third, on the downwind mark, we were 8th, and then climbed back. Regarding the whole week, seems like we were struggling with this north breeze, which is shifty. We love shifty winds, but we couldn't find a good rhythm in this Canadian north wind. The sea breeze was great, just this north wind we struggled a bit, but finally came out with a medal, and we don't want to look is it silver or bronze, it's as long as it's a medal.
Yeah. And that just shows your experience and your maturity in your racing. I remember when we were in Denmark and you dropped a rig, and you were working on your rig, you had some failures that you were working on in the parking lot, and you were sitting there just chilling away while your brother was working. But you guys have this relaxed maturity about yourselves. Going into this stage in the quad, your aim is 2024 in Paris.
Yeah.
You're staring at your competitors for that event, probably, if everyone gets there okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel with where you stand in the fleet?
Here it's really hard to cover someone. You need to work just with yourself on the speed, with the tactics. So if you do your job 100% good, you will be in forward. So we have a lot of things to improve. Not a lot, but small things. But I think when we solve that things, it will be even better.
And so many place changes in that race, only a 1 point away. But you like to look at the big picture, I know. So how do you feel about your week overall?
Yeah, the week was good. As I said, the medal is most important, but our goal is Paris 2024. It's in a bit less than 2 years. And yeah, as Micho says, plenty of small things to improve. Try to catch up the Dutch guys and try to stay on this level, and obviously to improve it. We have to switch to the new North sails, mainsail, and there's going to be a lot of time consuming to get to the same speed, and everything else is fine. We are healthy, no injuries, and hopefully it stays like that.
Yeah. Great. Well, congratulations to both of you. Congratulations to representing the country and bringing home a medal. Like you said, a medal is a good thing. So exactly. Congratulations, and we'll see you at the next regatta.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys. Thank you.
And back to the studio for the 2022 Worlds.
Yeah, bravo Zulu to them, and this is going to be a fun class to watch. Mm-hmm. And bravo Zulu too to Chris Mueller. He pronounces it, looks like the German name Mueller. And I just think that this class and Ben Ramacher, the whole group, are doing a terrific job. You were going to say something?
Yes, the double Dutch definition is 2 ropes jumping.
So you were right. That's what you were talking about.
Yeah, and that's the consensus of what's there. But there's evidently Stingray found one that we shouldn't know about.
Well, John, yeah, somebody else, Steve Atkins said he Googled it and he's something we shouldn't print here. Well, it must be sexual, but we're all adults. You can tell us what it says, Steve. There was also another, it's a Don King edition microphone with that fuzzy on top. Yeah, well, Chris he's fun, he's exciting, and he's excited. He's Chris Mueller, and okay, maybe. Now, Jeff Ogle said he prefers a Dutch oven. Now, do you know what a Dutch oven is?
No, I mean, I know what a Dutch oven on the stove is.
Do you know what a Dutch, well, you like, what is it, Dutch babies?
Dutch babies?
That's some kind of a, what do you call it?
A
pastry with some stuff in it.
It's a fancy omelet.
So now we're doing not Sailing Illustrated, we're doing Cooking Illustrated or Cuisine Illustrated.
Yeah.
But do you know what a Dutch oven is?
Yeah.
What? Not the colloquial.
No, a Dutch oven on the stovetop.
A Dutch oven. And I don't know why. It could be it could be a German oven or anybody else's. It's when one, as my grandmother used to say, one fluffs under the covers.
Really?
It creates a Dutch oven.
Okay.
I'm sorry for that, but that's what I know as a Dutch oven. But look, wait, there's more. We haven't covered yet. The
That's sailing.
Back to sailing. The Nacre 17 and pure domination for the champions Tita and Bonte. I think they won 14 of 16 races, something like that. Terrific job. And the story of the 2022 Worlds in Halifax was easily that Ruggero Tita and Caterina Bonte won 14. Yeah, there's of 16 fleet races, winning the title before the medal race. It can't be denied that, as Australian coach Darren Bundock put it, the pairing is a class above, quote unquote, the rest of the world. So bravo Zulu to them.
Nice.
Terrific stuff. We saw, Ben Ramacher, when he was on, told us
Right.
they're just a click higher, a click faster. And when you're higher and faster and you get decent starts, your tactics always look good. So bravo Zulu to them. And now we've got an Australian sailing, a Beau Outeridge video from the Australian team that is also interesting. Have a look.
Got to get the race parts in. That's the hardest part of preparing for the day.
Today was interesting. We had one fleet race and then the medal race, and the fleet race was okay for us. It was a keeper and we managed to jump back up into 5th place, which meant that with the points that we were going into a match race for 5th and 6th position with the Italians, which was always fun. And then, yeah, we actually started a pretty good race, had a little bit of unlucky when at the bottom gate when they caught us. We started a really good start, really good beat, and then, even then we got a penalty. I'm not sure what happened, but we had to review it, and then we just managed to just stay right behind them, which we knew we had to. So, happy with the day.
I think considering how the season started, we're pretty happy with the 5th. I definitely think there's a bit of a fire in the belly to make sure we make it on the podium and catch some fast people ahead of us. But it's just really nice to have good speed, be really in tune with each other on the boat. We've got to clean up some boat handling, but really happy with the result. But I think it puts us in a good position to keep working on that and come back next year firing, because we all know what the main goal is here.
Okay, another nice video from Sailing Australia, Beau Outeridge, Nathan's brother, who travels with the team and produces those, terrific videos. I know the Brits do something similar, but I think Cayard and the Americans and some other countries need to do the same to help for sponsors, help for backers, help for people trying to raise money. But
yeah,
well done. Let's see.
There's one question here.
What's that?
How do Olympic sailors log the sailboat performance info while they are sailing?
I don't know. And I don't know what's legal as far as trackers, personal trackers, private trackers. It's a good question. We'll have to ask somebody, maybe one of our FOSI. No. Thierry de Jong, that's double Dutch. We use on our It's Okay team, we sometimes, when somebody has unintelligible speech, we say he's speaking Welsh. especially if he's had too much, or she has had too much to drink. Started to speak Welsh. Double Dutch is unintelligible to the rest of the world. Sounds like double Dutch. Thank you, Tier de Jong. And John Emmett said, yeah, it's a Dutch oven is a fart in bed. He didn't mince words. And Alex Kent said, that's okay. I heard that one in my frat days. Stroopwafels. What are stroopwafels, Pindar saying? What's that, Julia?
I've forgotten. They're good, but I can't remember what they are.
Jonathan Frank talking about Dutch Master cigars. Somebody tell Tier de Jong or Andrew, tell us what stroopwafels all around, whatever that means. Okay, let's get to the main, our feature story. We put Cayard up here with this really interesting interview done by the Brit Andy Rice, who was there doing the play-by-play for the TV coverage. TV coverage was quite good too. I mean, considering again the comment, I don't like the commentators on shore, but technically it's difficult to be out on the water. When we're doing the Gov Cup now, we have the experience of and the resources to have Chris Retschker's folks boat Adios, which we turn into a broadcast center and a commentary booth and the camera platform. And then we stream from there to the internet right out on the water. And we're just, 100 meters or so, a couple hundred meters off Newport Beach. So there's plenty of cell towers and, it's easy to do. But most everybody else does it on shore, the commentary booth on shore, and it's not the same as being on the water, whether it's the America's Cup or Sail GP or whatever, when they're in a commentary booth in London covering it. But nonetheless, good television coverage. And thanks again, Ben Remacher, for coming on and doing a terrific job. And thanks for letting us use this interview that Andy did with Paul Cayard. And I think you'll find it's a little long, which is why I've made it the feature piece, 8 minutes long. But listen carefully to what Paul says, and then we want to discuss afterwards whether you think, we talked about this yesterday at the Labor Day hot dog fry we had here at the Beach Street Yacht Club, whether you think Paul can achieve what he's talking about, particularly not this year, but 2024, but come 2028 when we're hosting the Olympics in Long Beach. Have a listen.
Paul Cayard is Executive Director of US Olympic Sailing. Now, Paul, it's been tough times in the last 30 years for Olympic success. So some people might say this was a poison chalice. I assume that you took this role on because you see great opportunity.
For sure, there's opportunity, Andy. And I really took the role on because I was, part of the '84 team and won my Star Worlds in '88, and grew up in that generation and skippered our own America's Cup boats, and that's where I come from. And so I took the job on because I want to, I think what's going on in the Olympic arena and in other elements of the sport, I think we can do better. So I really I hope to make a difference. And for me, that would be a great satisfaction.
So here you are in Nova Scotia watching the 49er FX and NACRA Worlds here live. What convinced you to come here to see it in person?
Well, I've been going around to various events. I was in Marseille for our training last month, and I came here because there's 3 Olympic events that are having the World Championship here, and we've got 34 athletes and about 10 coaches and 4 or 5 staff. So we've got a 50-person contingent here from Team USA, and we're putting a lot of energy and effort into moving up the ladder in all the classes. And I need to be here firsthand, so that's why I'm here.
These 3 classes in particular, USA seems to be showing good signs across the 49er, the 49er FX and the NACRA 17. Do you see good direction here?
Well, I've been pleasantly surprised, obviously, this year with the 49er success that the boys have had. We have at least 3 good teams. They did well in Princess Sophia and Yare, and that didn't go unnoticed, especially since we didn't even qualify the 49er class in Tokyo. So I'm very happy with the effort and the results there. And in the FX, we have some good competitors as well. And I think the NACRA, we have some work to do. But generally, we're moving up.
And since you were campaigning, I mean, you went in 2004 to Athens. Remind me, where did you finish in the Star there?
5th.
fifth. So that was just the beginning of, say, well, the first 10 years of what we might call the professional era. And it seems since the beginning of the professional era, rather than the highly committed amateur Corinthian sailor, that's where US sailing started to lose its dominance. Would you agree with that? And what's changed?
Yeah, 100%, Andy. It's not so much that the USA has gone downhill. It's that the rest of the world got better processes, got more serious, and basically started to become professional sports franchises in the Olympic arena. And Great Britain is obviously the best example, but Australia has done well too, and Germany. A lot of countries have different ways they slice it, but they have very high impact on the classes they choose to get involved in. So, you know, in a way, to say that the Americans athletes haven't done well isn't fair. It's we have great athletes in America, but we haven't supported them the way they deserve to be supported, and therefore, as the game changed, our athletes weren't able to compete on on their best footing. Let's just put it that way. So my whole goal is to garner more support for them, and at the same time put a better organization in place that will operate more efficiently and more effectively to provide them all the various types of support, from technology to sports science to coaching and logistics and everything that's required to succeed here.
Is that going to require a complete revolution in the way that US Olympic sailing is funded?
Yes. Basically, we were for the past 10 years or so, we hover around $3.5 to $4 million a year. I know the British are probably on 3 or 4 times that much. And, you know, I've given many interviews on this, and it's not all about the money. The money is a very important piece of the puzzle. You can't live without it, but just because you have money doesn't mean you're going to win. You have to spend the money wisely. You have to devise a good system and processes. You have to build a great organization. I would say we're going to gain as much from money as we're going to gain from efficiency. We've sent too many athletes off to Kiel Week to compete and finish 47th and spend $15,000 doing it. That's a waste. That's inefficient. So another big project that I'm working on is building domestic strength in the United States of America and in North America. We're collaborating with the Canadians. We have a lot of Mexican athletes that come to we have a series sponsored by West Marine. We have 6 events in the United States. We just finished up the 2nd year. And, you know, that type of thing, building strength in domestically and getting the talent up to the right level to go compete in Kiel Week or Yara Princess Sophia, that's efficiency. So at the same time as I'm going to triple the budget, I'm going to hopefully gain more impact from the dollars that were maybe not being spent well.
Los Angeles 1984, USA gets 4 gold, 3 silver. Los Angeles 2028, what is a realistic target for medals? 10 events.
I would hope we would medal in half the events. That's what Great Britain did in Tokyo. I think that's the benchmark for quote unquote dominating the games nowadays. What happened in LA in '84 will never be repeated again by anybody because the whole landscape has just gotten a lot more competitive. But my goal is 5 medals in LA 2028.
So that is a very big goal. That's a big, hairy, outrageous goal. How much does it help you that it is going to be a home games? Is that what it's all about for you?
It's not all about that, but I mean, as you know from Weymouth in 2012, home game is a great opportunity. It raise a lot of awareness. It should help me with fundraising, sponsors, and there's no reason why the team shouldn't own Long Beach in terms of understanding the conditions, right? That's our home turf. So it's an opportunity not to be squandered. The fact that it's 6 years out kind of fits my timeline. I can't turn this ship around in 2 years. This is a 1,000-foot, cargo ship that we're trying to turn around. So it's going to take a little bit of time. But that timeline, 6 years, fits pretty well. And, if we don't get the 5 medals, I think we'll be damn close. And we'll have put the important pieces in place.
The other big difference is that there are only 2 women competing at the 1984 games. This time round, 50% of the athletes are going to be women. How much has that changed the landscape and your challenge?
Well, it's definitely changed the landscape, and I think it's great for the sport. It helps in a lot of ways. I enjoy the dynamics of having the women around on the team, and we have great female athletes. So yeah, it's great. I think 88 was the first time they actually had a female class of boat. It was the women's 470, and actually the United States of America won gold that year in Korea.
Yeah. Paul, thank you very much. Great to hear how ambitious your goals and targets are. Thanks for talking, and all the best with the challenge ahead of you.
Thanks, Andy. I need it.
There you have it, Andy Rice's interview with Paul Cayard, which took place, obviously, you can see from the media wall in the back, up in Nova Scotia at the Worlds, where Paul was in attendance watching over his U.S., his American Chargers. Julia, what's your reaction to all that?
I have to preface it by saying I've been Paul Cayard's #1 fan since he was 16.
More than my mom?
Oh, yes.
Oh, longer, because my mom's only known him for the last probably 20 years. But
yeah, no, but he was a great junior sailor, and among those who aspired the club to go into international racing. Kostecki and Cayard
and Blackhaller
and Kenny Keefe. That class was a terrific one, and he's terrific, and I love to see him in this role, and can
he do it? Can he win 5 medals in Long Beach?
Who
in
knows?
the U.S.
Who knows? But if anybody can, he will.
I think that's a good point. If anyone can, Paul, he's a leader of men and women. I've done a couple of cup campaigns with him, and he's focused, he's strong, he doesn't ask anybody to do anything. In fact, that's one of his weaknesses, is that he tries to do too much. At least he did during those cup campaigns, but he wouldn't do anything. He wouldn't ask anybody else to do something that he wouldn't already do 10 times in spades. And lot of comments here. And Paul gives a great interview, doesn't he?
Oh yes, it was a good one.
He's positive. He's strong. His brain is wired at a megahertz or 2 faster than most people's. He's articulate, bright, good looking. I don't know about all this shaving stuff you all are talking about.
I know. I have visions of Paul when he was sailing Il Moro and trying to walk through the streets of Italy and just being followed by bands of followers and great, he was, and he's affectionately known as Paolo Cardino.
Cayardini.
We
called him Paolo Cayardini when he was steering Il Moro for Gardini back in 2000 in the finals of the America's Cup.
Yeah.
He's only gotten to the finals of the America's Cup with a foreign team, not with an American team, although we got to the finals with, in fact, people are asking, where's your America One scarf?
Yeah, I know.
Because you were a big supporter, you and your late husband were a supporter of our team, of Paul's team, and the late, great Bob Billingham, who was the COO. Paul, you talk about fun, walk through an airport with him.
Yes, yeah, I know.
Whether it's in Monaco, or it's any of the French airports, or it's an amazing experience because they recognize him from.
And it doesn't hurt that he speaks fluent French and Italian.
Well, he certainly speaks fluent French, and he's a pretty good Italian speaker. I mean, his mom or dad was French.
His father is French.
Father's French. Okay, I would love to ask him some hard questions. John Emmett is saying, we'll get Paul on here at some point. He's promised he'll come on. Peter Taylor, he's super competent as well as being eye candy. Yeah, he is attractive. There's no question. There's no question.
Yeah,
attractive human being, and he's a big, strong guy too. Even he was in the gym all the time, even at age 60, whatever he is now. Just on now, I missed the interview, and we'll check it out and replay. I think you can find it too on YouTube by now. We women love our Cayard. Julie Aarons is saying he is a great sailor, good leader, and let's face it, he is adorable.
No question about it. Poor thing.
Spangos is saying he's a great man for the job. Bill Canfield, hello, Mr. President. We need to go abroad for coaches. He is the perfect for the role. John Emmett, we said that. I do not doubt the necessity of getting organized, but I heard no mention of the talent pipeline. Well, Gordon Smith, he is working on that. Believe me, he is working on that. Taylor said, Peter's saying he's a rock star, on and on and on. Yeah, David Morris, who's down in Long Beach in that area, saying time to sail a bunch out of Mike Sagerblum's Long Beach Sailing Center. Great facility that has a lot more to offer. Here's the problem for the U.S., and Paul and I have talked about this at long length.
That's an important thing, I think.
Yeah, is that look, we're never going to compete at the money level the Brits have, maybe the Australians have, and some other countries. Although Gordon Smith points out that our budget is no more than, say, the Danish budget. But remember, it's a lot easier for the Danes and the other European countries to get around. The Spanish were doing very well also in this Olympic cycle.
John Emmett says GBR budget is 22 million.
Yeah, so Paul said 3 or 4 times what ours is, which is 3.5, so it's more like 7 times. Ours. 6 or 7. Yeah, it's plenty. But my point is this, is that the European countries with all those regattas in Europe, and, it's like traveling from state to state here when you go from Hyères down to, okay, not quite, when you go up to Kiel or you go down to Palma, and it's easier to get around. It's much less expensive to get around. You have much more competition week in and week out in Europe. And it's expensive for us to go over there for the Aussies, the Kiwis, but the Aussies and Kiwis still seem to figure it out. I think what the U.S. has to do, and I'll tell you why it's difficult for us to do, we got to go back to the old formula of just having an open Olympic trials. One regatta here somewhere in the States, someplace that hopefully replicates Marseille in this case, in this quadrennium, or obviously in Long Beach in the next quadrennium. And you have the same format, and you invite everybody in the States that wants to come sail in it to come sail in it. And maybe you have to qualify by sailing in the nationals and doing a certain, so you don't have a bunch of punters there that get in the way and screw things up. But if you open the Olympic trials back up, rather than using other regattas and the performance at the European regattas in Miami, for example, to qualify who's coming from our country to get to go to the Olympics, assuming we have qualified for a slot in the given class, which is the caveat. If you opened it up and suddenly you had a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen teams, I mean, you might motivate people who had no interest at all in the Olympics. Say, I could get serious about this for a couple months, go train, put some money into this, find my own coach, find my own equipment, figure out how to make the boat go, and maybe on their own figure out some things that the people who are, following each other around in Europe haven't figured out. That's what used to be the strength of the U.S. program. You'd have an Olympic trials. You had no idea who was going to show up. You had no real idea who was going to win, but the sheer numbers of a country this size and the people who could get into it, at least on a short-term basis, and go for an Olympic campaign without committing 4 or 8 years. Now, can they win? I don't know in this day and age. But that would bring what is our strength of a big country and a lot of sailors and a lot of money that could get behind a lot of different teams to help raise the domestic talent level. Now, that's easy for me to say. The problem is how do you qualify? Because World Sailing has made it very difficult to qualify, and it forces you to go to these World Sailing events or these, like this event John Emmett is at the test event for right now in Den Haag. That event next year, 2023, is the main qualifying event for the 2024 Olympics in Marseille. So you have to go there and you have to do well in order to qualify your country to get a slot to go to the Olympics. And when you have to go to these qualifying regattas, and then you have to go home, and then maybe you qualify your country by doing well enough in a series of regattas. Now you got to go home and win the trials. That's
expensive.
It's a problem. Well, it's expensive,
and
but it's
time
also,
and money.
And it seems a little unfair to somebody who's gone and done the trek abroad, and then qualified our country for a slot, and then they got to go win our own Olympic trials, and some upstart team comes and beats them. So it's a tough situation for the U.S. because of what World Sailing has done to us and the Aussies and the Kiwis, for that matter. Julie Aarons, our sailors are scattered all over the U.S. Our college teams are not competing enough with as a high level as the Europeans. Yes, it is difficult because our sailors don't start sailing at 7 and 8 years. Yes, they do. We don't grow up sailing. I don't think that's true at all, Julie. I think they do grow up sailing young, and I think our people are plenty good. I just don't think we have the corpus. We don't have enough. We don't have in this big country, and Paul's trying to do that. You heard him say.
Yes, a transparent path.
Well, not only transparent path, but where you get enough numbers together here in the U.S. at a number of events, not just U.S., but Canada and Mexico, and if Bermuda wants to come, and if anybody else wants to come, that's great too. But so far, that's not going really, really well. Let's see who else. Karen Robertson. Hi, Karen. Long time. The Olympic classes are small or non-existent everywhere, but other similar classes are popular, which feeds into them. Good point. Good point. John Emmett says you just got to do the circuit. Jody's saying down in Australia, is your country only successful if they go well in the Olympics? That's a good point. Kimball Livingston, it's a different theme. Cayard would have a better shot if he was relieved of fundraising duties. I agree with that too, but I don't know who's going to do a better job, Kimball, than staff. That's Staff Commodore Kimball Livingston, by the way. Please stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Emmett is saying there's a proven formula, the circuit. Home Olympic trial stopped over 20 years ago. John, I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. What I do, I believe in tried and true methods that have proven successful in the past. And if the current method is not proving successful, then you got to try something else. And hopefully Cayard's going to get it right.
And the question is, what are the populations of the countries that are striving for it? So there are about 5 or 10 big population countries versus smaller ones. So the path has to be different.
Yeah, the path has to be different. And I'm just saying, if what we're doing now doesn't seem to be working, and maybe Paul can get it right. But if, yes, Chris Dewar, I agree, the U.S. Open Sailing Series is a start. The 6-event home circuit is excellent for growing, developing home talent, big picture, long term, but I'm not sure it's going to help short term. All the top MNAs do the circuit. The USA doesn't. Population is irrelevant. Do the circuit. It is the same for everyone. Well, I respectfully disagree, John, and I don't know what Cayard's going to figure out. I hope he does figure something out, but I do think that we're going to have a different, we need to have a different approach here, because it's what we're doing now isn't working. Okay, interesting points. I'm sure Paul will go back and read through the comments. We will as well. And any of you watching in replay, by all means, please do leave comments, as we like to say, throughout the show. And maybe this will be a day in history when Olympic sailing changes for the U.S. What happened, Julie, on this day in history, the 6th of September, maritime related, in 1522?
1522.
Way back, maritime related. Famous navigator. Here's your first clue. You know who that is?
Magellan.
Well done. Ferdinand Magellan. Portugal. He lived from 1480 to only 1521. He only lived to be 41 years old because he was killed in the Philippines on his first circumnavigation. But famously, the Strait of Magellan, which is not around the Cape down there, but it is that body of water. You can see that pathway from the Atlantic into the Pacific, so you don't have to go around the Cape. And Magellan discovered Cape Town. No, Stingray, that didn't happen on this date. I'm just getting there. But that strait was named after him in the process of what he did do. And originally, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it's that navigable sea route in southern Chile, separating South America to the north and Tierra del Fuego to the south. So the strait is considered the most important natural passage between the Atlantic and Pacific. Of course, the Panama Canal now takes its place in many respects, although that was not natural. When he first traversed it, discovered it, at least for the Europeans, he named it for the King of Spain, who sponsored this Magellan Elcano expedition, and he changed the name, that is, the king did, to the Strait of Magellan in honor of the navigator. And he was not the most popular person because he was Portuguese. He was Portuguese, but he sailed for the Spanish, who had the money to sponsor those sorts of things in that day and age, like Cristobal Colombo.
And he probably got it from the Dutch.
Cristobal Colon,
Dutch,
who was Italian, right?
Yeah.
And sailed also for the Spanish. Well, the Spanish, big influence. Monica Diaz still has a big influence. So we don't need to go into other details of that. But what that happened on this day in history, and I didn't realize this. It's interesting to go back and look. You see this double line here? His first voyage from Spain, this double line, he went around the Cape and went around Africa and up past Madagascar, and he went over to some islands over near the Philippines. So he got, well, here you can see it over here.
Yep.
India and around, and he got over here halfway around the world. and so, well, I haven't fallen off, so maybe the world's not flat. Well, I mean, no joke, right?
Yes.
I haven't fallen off, so maybe the world's not flat after all. Well, they had a pretty good idea by then that it wasn't. So during his voyage, Magellan was killed in the Battle of Mactan in 1521 in the present-day Philippines after running into resistance by the indigenous population led by some guy called Lapu-Lapu, who consequently became a Philippines national symbol of resistance to colonialism. After Magellan's death, Juan Sebastian Elcano took lead of, I didn't know that, lead of the expedition, and with its few other surviving members, only like a dozen of them, and one of the two remaining ships completed the first circumnavigation of the Earth when they returned to Spain on this date in 1522. So he did this double, not double Dutch, the double Spanish around, came back and said, okay, we'll do that. We'll go around South America, got over to the Philippines. He died, and then his colleague Elcano got them the rest of the way around the world. And on this date in 1522, Magellan, he's famous because he said, we're going to do it. He led it. He fundraised for it. His Spanish expedition aboard the Vitoria, not Victoria, the Vitoria, returns to Spain without their captain, the first to circumnavigate the Earth on this day in history. 6th of September, 1522. Nice interview with Cayard. I like that. He does give good interviews.
He does.
Okay, the America's Cup. The American Cup boat race, Julie. You don't like it when I say that.
No.
But there is a bit of a cup date, and there's a bit of an update to the Alinghi capsize. When that squall hit, the sails were down. You will know that if you watched our Friday show or have seen some of it. In the meantime, they capsized in that terrific squall in Barcelona. When they were towing back to the base, they knew it was coming. And they've issued this video. I thought there was audio with this, but perhaps not. Obviously not. Or if there was, I didn't get it in the download, but I'm sure there's audio with this. I wonder what happened to it.
It's the first day for us to put the boat out with the mast and hoisting the sails. It was a really good day for us for the sailing system. We could check all the hardware and logics and system, and the sail fit well. Everything was rolling well, so useful and good lesson learned there with the sails.
We get hit by a huge squall. Then the wind pressure went up a little bit more, and the boat gently knocked down on the side. Once the squall went off, we towed the boat back to the shore, and thanks to the crew, thanks to the sailing team, thanks to the support team who did a great job, keeping the boat safe.
Now we're back in the shed, and the short crew is doing everything to get us back on the water as soon as possible.
At the end, the team saw almost the worst thing that can happen, and everybody jumped out safe out of it, So in one sense, we're also confident, for the future. We're going to take the lessons to avoid such of things, of course, but we know if it happens for any reason, we know what to do.
Niels Fry is a good coach, good guy, smart guy. Now, I don't know where that audio, why it dropped out. It was nothing I did here to turn it on or turn it off. But one of the another terrific video from Red Bull. There's a series of them. I'm going to play another one in a moment. But I think what's happening here is, as I've always said, one of the reasons for having big sponsors in the sport is because they produce a lot of media. And I think because of Red Bull, they keep milking this capsize. more so than perhaps other teams would. And they're the only ones producing, that I've seen anyway, a lot of ink at this point for Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Speaking of which, they produced another one. How they start on a close-up of one of the team members' faces, and then, well, you'll see it here in a sec. But another terrific video featuring one of their team members. Have a look.
My name is Nicolas Rolles. I'm 22 years old and I'm from Switzerland. I think my strengths are the capacity to learn fast. I love precision and I like to be very precise with everything I do. Besides sailing, I really like cycling, watches, cars. I mean, everything that is technical and needs precision. As a young team member, I'm here to improve, to give my best every day, and for sure to evolve in the boat in the future. I've been working really hard for it, and now it's time to show that I deserve it. For me, representing Switzerland at the America's Cup, it's history. Alinghi won 2 times, and it would be great to get it the 3rd, and I think we're good for it.
Mark my words, they're going to be good, Julia. Alinghi are going to be good, and another terrific video. I still think they're the top challenger. I don't know if they're the top team, but we'll see. Man, are the comments rolling in now.
Yeah.
Let's
Stingray says Alinghi will not be able to sail for maybe 3 more weeks.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. Is that true, Stingray? I saw that in the forums.
The boat flooded, ruining all the one-off systems aboard. They may have ruined their port foil purchased from America. So it's serious.
Yeah, and Stingray is saying there's a big S fight now. I hear, I'm not sure how big an S fight it is about the recon program. Apparently ETNZ is getting more info and faster about Alinghi's developments than other teams are getting. I told you at the start, that program is fraught. It's never going to last. It's never going to work well. And it is exactly that. It's a chance for the defender to take advantage of the challengers. And we've seen it with television when the defender is running the whole television thing. Guess who gets all the aerials that are, all the stuff. The defender gets the stuff, and they spy on the other teams through the TV program. This is not a cost-saving program. It's going to be a real problem, but we shall see. A bunch of comments back and forth. I'm not going to get into it about whether you should be going on the circuit. We'll get John Emmett maybe to debate Cayard or somebody at some point down the road. But Jody, you're saying that Red Bull F1 drivers out on the USA Sail GP today, yes, as they're practicing in Saint-Tropez, right? And I ran a video earlier, Jody, with Max Verstappen on the handles at the U.S. because, Jimmy's a Red Bull athlete, a Red Bull ambassador, and Red Bull sponsoring the Oracle Red Bull Team USA Sail GP team. So at least they're getting some ink if they're not even doing that very well. Okay, back on the America's Cup, we told you a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, about this Netflix video that's coming out. Well, it's out. And this is the race of the century. This is the untold race of the century. It's a Netflix video. It's an hour and 24 minutes long. The Australia 2 yacht crew looks back on the motivation, dedication, and innovation that led to their historic victory at the 1983 America's Cups. Julie, have you seen it? You can look at it this morning. Our friend John Harrington, who's a fellow St. Francis Yacht Club member, has looked at it.
Yeah.
Commends it to you, to us. I haven't had time to look at it, but I will in the next couple of days. But in the meantime, several of you have asked about the trailer, which I shall replay now.
The New York Yacht Club were ferocious defenders of the America's Cup. They oozed style, wealth, this unbeatableness.
The US had never lost. It was the longest winning streak in sporting history for 132 years. There's no question the emerging force was Dennis Conner. That was the best sailor in the world.
He will do anything to win.
Or we slaughtered him.
3, 2, 1.
It was time that we had to do something radical. It's a huge commitment. We had to believe ourselves that we belong on the world stage.
I
hadn't been a navigator on any boat.
But we were there for one reason, to win.
All the work that we had done had paid huge dividends. And we came out all guns blazing.
What Australians really like is upsetting the upper echelon.
The whole of the world was watching this.
The greatest yacht race of the century.
Never seen anything like this. And a little country called Australia had the audacity to think that we could do it.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I don't know about the rest of you. It's on Netflix. It's now airing. I think today was the first day that it, yeah, there it is, September 6th. So we'll have a look at it. Now, obviously, in that video, Julia, there's a bit of mixed up. They got Reagan in there when that was after Dennis won in 87 and brought it back and forth. But that era, certainly that 83 series in Newport, I was on the bow of the jury boat and never enjoyed a series more than any of the others. Except perhaps winning it. I mean, you could argue about winning it in a few of the times, but Ed Worley saying, I will never forget that series. And Bill Wingrove saying the Freedom Liberty team housed in the same mansion that was used in the 60s Gothic TV show Dark Shadow. Is that true?
I don't know.
Jeff Ogle says, I'll watch to see why it's rated TVMA for mature. Interesting. Yeah, Jody, that video that we played was early in the show. It was we had a little F1 thing, and I put it up there instead of in the America's Cup now. So I got to learn more about who produced that and why. But you see a lot of the cool. I mean, not only is Dennis in it and JB, right, John Bertrand, but you see Grunter, Grant Simmer, and John Longley, Chink, and a lot of other of our longtime friends in that. It's going to be fun to watch.
I just, an aside, there's a lot of comment by many people about saying, you know, that you do have to get in the circuit to really win in the Olympics. But the U.S. problem is getting people up to before that.
Getting people out to get out of college, doing an Olympic campaign instead of college sailing, or going and doing big boats, or going and doing Sail GP. Or whatever. Exactly right. You're exactly right, Julia.
And then they can go.
Yeah. Who's playing you, Tom? No, I wasn't a figure. I was involved from 1980, but I wasn't in the 83 campaign except, well, I was a rules advisor for all three defenders in 83, but I don't think I didn't have anything to do with the Australians, and that was the focus, I'm sure, is on the Aussies. What do you think's going to happen here with Sail GP coming up this weekend, Saint-Tropez? Are the Kiwis going to make it 3 in a row? It's going to be fun to watch. We shall see. The season championship, Australia is still on top, but just. They're 4 points ahead of the Kiwis, so Slinger's ahead of Pete Burling. And Nikolai Sehested, sailing for Denmark, doing well. He's in third, and no surprise, Phil Robertson's doing well, sailing for Canada. And it'll be fun to watch that in Saint-Tropez this weekend, the 10th through the 11th. It's practice racing. Well, they're sailing now, but there's practice racing on Friday and then on Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes they race Friday, Saturday. Sometimes they race Saturday, Sunday, depending on the venue and the TV time zones and so on. One video out is the only one I could find. One video out by the British team. Let's have a look.
Pre-racing, doing some training laps, an uncharted rock. No one knew about, could have happened to anyone, just very unlucky for us. Caused some serious damage to the boat. The boat was aground, the starboard rudder and the starboard daggerboard had hit the rock. We worked with the sailors to kick the rudders up. Unfortunately, the starboard rudder stock broke. Starboard daggerboard also on the impact has delaminated, so that's 2 components that we're going to have to replace. And then the big problem, the starboard daggerboard case has taken too much damage and is irreparable on site. So again, we're going to have to look at getting a new one flown up from New Zealand. With the shore team we've got some great guys, but we couldn't do it without the tech team's help on the water and ashore here. The tech team was straight involved with us on the water, trying to reduce damage where possible. We got the boat back ashore in the shed, full survey of parts, and actually the structural engineers, Sail GP Technologies in New Zealand, were straight into an engineer's report to see what was repairable. Unfortunately, not enough was. To get us on the start line in Saint-Tropez, we've got some spare parts on site with us at the moment, which we're good to go with, and then the board case being the critical one, there is one built ready to go in New Zealand, so we're going to get that up to Saint-Tropez and we'll be ready to go when we get to France.
Yeah, tough.
That was all charged by the changed by the capsize.
No, they hit a rock. Remember, they hit a rock over at Denmark.
Oh yeah.
And that took them out of contention for that regatta. It took them out of action. They couldn't sail. Gordon Smith is saying, who lives in Denmark, of course, he's saying it wasn't an uncharted rock. They were in an exclusion zone. And the reason that was an exclusion zone was because
it's a big rock.
There was an uncharted rock, and maybe it was a chart. Obviously, they know about it. And Jeff Ogle saying that will not buff out. Yeah.
No.
And as Jody has observed, and we're hearing that it's looking pretty light. This is, the Med this time of year. In September, October, it generally is pretty light. And you can either have a real strong, whatever they call it in that country, it's Scirocco and what do they call it in France?
Oh, I'm just...
Whatever it's called. But you can either have a real strong, offshore breeze, or you can have sort of the more light kind of sea breeze.
Isn't that funny?
It looks like this weekend in Saint-Tropez. We shall see. That brings me to Correct or Croutonic. So if our Aussies are on here watching, we've got a question for all of you. Several of you sent this next image to me. Mistral, thank you, Ted Ryman.
Yes.
Thank you, Fog Machine. Mistral, Gordon Smith. Yeah, Mistral, Scirocco.
How can I forget that?
How can we forget it? Julia, is this picture correct or Croutonic? Did this is the same genre as our one from last time? Is this live or is this Memorex? Is this fake? Is this photoshopped or is this real? This is in Brisbane. Supposedly, those are photographers in the front. What do you think? Correct or Croutonic?
I can't imagine that being real, but I could be wrong.
What do our Aussie friends say? This is on the edge of the Brisbane River. That's an FA-18F Super Hornet of the Australian Air Force, supposedly. The gaggle of photographers. Maverick, Luca Craig is saying. Greg Phillips, who lives down there, says it's real. Anybody else? Is it correct or is it Croutonic?
Well, if
it's in Oz, it'll be real. Ted Ryman is saying. Gordon Smith, correct. Long focal lens.
I was going to say they have to be a long lens.
Croutonic, unless the photo is very elongated.
Yeah.
Well,
it could be.
Back, Gordon Smith's, Jody's and Gordon, they're talking about the Olympics. Well, here is the answer, or so I'm reliably informed. The pic will undoubtedly go down as one of the most famous Australian aviation pics ever. It was photographed by Nino Lo Gudice, I don't know, from the rooftop of fellow photographer David Kaepernick's apartment on the edge of the Brisbane River. This FA-18F Super Hornet is based at Amberley RAAF Base, the Royal Australian Air Force Base, Queensland, and was taken during the River Fire rehearsal. River Fire is an event held as part of the Brisbane Festival. And this was just a few days ago, apparently. The gaggle of photogs dressed in day-glow flak jackets are actually on the top of Brisbane's Story Bridge.
Amazing.
Giudice is how Fog Machines. No, Giudice. Thank you. Giudice. Croutonic, pretty risky flying. Strange angle, Julie Aarons is saying.
That's just
either way, the shot. Oops,
yeah.
I didn't mean to go black there. Either way, the shot is awesome. It is, isn't it?
It is.
Back it up so you can see it. Apparently, it is real. And unless one of you Aussies tell us otherwise, who got gas trying to beat them to the top? It's a fabulous photo. Beats anything, Julie, we've seen here.
Absolutely.
During the Blue Angels when they come. Yeah. Are they coming this year in October on Fleet Weekend?
Yes, I think they are.
Fleet Week? Hopefully. Cool stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I have another cool, this show's full of cool videos. I got another one here for you. This one, as you know, our good friend and Fozy, Andrew McIrvin, is in Porto Cervo, is at Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, where the 4th through the 10th are underway now, is the Maxi Yacht Rolex Cup at YCCS. We'll get a report from Andrew at some point, probably not live this week. Maybe we'll get a video from him for our Friday show. But this next video, I guarantee you, is cool. Let's see who can ID it first. One of you sent it to us, so other than several of you sent it to us, actually. Have a look and tell us what you think this is. And from what yacht it's being shot. Video is being taken from. Domino's delivered at Costa Smeralda. Okay, who can ID the yacht that flew by and the yacht on which this video was taken, JS1? There's a hint. Do you know? I'll run it again, shall I?
Will that help?
Probably not.
I'm just wondering if it's part of Prada's crew.
Baton Rouge gets it. No, that is Sophia. That's the J-boat, which I understand is no longer owned by Tom Siebel. I was tipped off to that after the show. Bill Wingrove says his brother is sending in video. He rented an inflatable. So they'd only let him have a 40 horsepower motor. Yeah, that's Fea. Graham Sweeney's confirming. Yeah, Baton Rouge Cannon having taken it. That is that new fully foiling maxi. What's it called?
Sphere.
No, Sphere is the J-boat on which the video was taken. That's what, Nikita or Nikki. What is that boat called? Mark Mills design, built at Persico Marine. Andrew Pendart is confirming. And the name of that boat is Flying Nikki, right? Andrew Pendart? Oh, yeah, Nika.
Nika.
It was just sold, was in Charleston during the change. Flying Nika. Thank you, Kimball Livingston. Stingray Flying Nika. That boat. And that is, of course, Porto Cervo, one of the most gorgeous places. It's never had more fun at a regatta ever. Low key, nice food, beautiful ambiance, great people. Some Italian Chianti, or maybe a little bit better than that, at the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda on the Emerald Coast, Costa Smeralda. I spent every single hour trying to get Lily out of China to race and train. Identical situation. Oh, we're still on that. Okay. Flying Nikita. Chris Exley says, is it Nikita? Is it Nikki? Is it Nika? I can't remember. But we'll find out more about that. No doubt get some tips about that yacht from Andrew McUrban, if not Andrew Pindar as well, when we get into our next show. Okay, that brings us to the D block, and we have all clean today, Julia. You'll be pleased to know. They're all clean. Here's the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot segment. And the first one, Julia, is from you. You can explain this.
Beer is not...
You sent that.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Beer is now cheaper than gas. Drink, don't drive. And this one came from Graham Sweeney. He's saying, vaping is weird. You walk past a group of dudes who look like gangsters but smell like strawberry muffins. God, vaping, and vaping's bad for you, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have two clean ones. It's Flying Nika. Kimball knows all. Thank you, Fog Machine. Much appreciated. And is he going to comment on Tommy's shirt? No, nobody's going to comment on my shirt. This is the Stack Crew shirt, at least the committee shirt. I really like it. I must say, I'm not into these Rain Spooner shirts necessarily.
Oh, I am.
But, I think this one, and Julia, again, I did through three in the last half hour before we go live. We do hair and makeup. I do. You have your lady come in the morning and help you, right?
Not with hair and makeup.
Oh, she doesn't. Well, shower and shave.
Shower and shave.
But I have to do hair and makeup in the last half hour, and then I changed my wardrobe, and I went to the wardrobe, and I said, no, I can't have that shirt. So my wardrobe consultant said, no, you have it. There's no people think there's a control room in that closet.
Yeah, with 45 people in it,
it's the two of us, that's it. So hair and makeup and wardrobe, and I chose this shirt because it matches Julia's outfit. So after I saw her outfit, I had to go change. Classy shirt, can never have too many of that style. No foiling boats on the Stag Cruise shirt. Love that shirt, Chris Eckley says. Okay, so much for shirts.
Yeah.
Shiza. Another Shiza. It gets us to the finish line, and I don't have any finish line videos. We played enough. We're an hour and 40 minutes into the show today. Thank you all. I love Julia's.
I always shave.
She always shaves things.
Oh, and I have to.
Julia, you can take over from here.
Yes, please take this opportunity to like, follow, and share.
And do the next one, too.
Comments are always welcome, even in replay. I've just introduced several new people this week who said, oh, replay.
You're on a roll.
Support us on Patreon, too. That is very important because that really keeps the lights on.
Patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. And it does. We do appreciate it. Every little bit helps keep the lights on and the internet paid for. And no air conditioning. It is warm here in the studio. I hope the sea breeze comes in, Julia. Any last minute thoughts?
No, I enjoyed the show today. Lots of different things.
We enjoy the show when it goes quickly for us.
Yep.
And this one, I couldn't believe when I looked up at the clock up here it was already an hour and 42 minutes in.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this show number 550. It's always great fun to have our community, our FOSI and friends, and a lot of people who don't give us comments, so we don't even know if you're on here watching if we don't see your comments. But thanks.
And we know there are a lot of stealth watchers.
Well, that's good. And most people watch in replay, understandably.
Yeah.
Go back and look at the comments. And hope to see you in the meantime on Friday. Hope you have a great rest of your week. As we
little Caribbean music.
Dance our way out with a little Caribbean, with a little steel band music. I hope you can sail fast, sail fast, sail fast. Sail safe and have fun. Ciao for now.